Facebook. Get to it. Hi guys, it looks like sorry. Hi guys, it looks like I'm live on all of my spaces that I need to be live on. So let's get started. Today I want to talk about what a foundation, what an endowment would mean to us. So we're going to talk a little bit about that. So let's go right over to there. And there's our little slideshow. I use a slideshow for myself because it's easier to not get distracted and not go out of order for things I want to say. All right, so an endowment is basically a forever fund. It's a group of money that you keep in the bank and only are allowed to withdraw some percentage of the money out of the interest only. So the principal stays in the account the whole time. It never comes out unless there's an emergency. But the interest comes out a little bit each quarter we can do, or we can do it monthly, or we can do it annually. So that's what we're looking at. It's a forever fund. It will forever give us money. Our initial goal is $1.2 million. And the reason we picked that goal is because that would allow us to hire a third volunteer coordinator. That's what they're called, a third volunteer coordinator. We figured it conservatively at 5% interest as to be withdrawn. We conservatively figured that a 8% interest rate total would be great. That 3% would stay in the account, so that as inflation goes, so goes the balance, so that we always have an equal amount. Like if we get the 1.2 million, or when we get the 1.2 million in 2026 dollars, in 2050, it will be whatever the interest rate has been, so it's an equivalent amount. That amount will always stay the same and or get larger as we continue to add to the fund. That would be 25% of our current budget, which would, like as I said, allow us to, assuming all things stay equal, allow us to add another volunteer coordinator. That would roughly be about a $6,000 drawdown per year. Why are we using an endowment? Let's imagine you were able to give a child's place casa $1,000. And we spent it in 2026 because typically that's how it works. We use our money as best we can. 10 years later, it's a memory. You remember that one time that you were able to give $1,000. However, if it's an endowment and you give $1,000, only the interest is spent off of that $1,000. So 10 years later, a child place casa has used approximately $50 each year. But there's the original $1,000 that was in there is now $1,300. So in 10 years, you've managed to give us $500, and there's another $300 in the account. So that would be awesome. We represent currently 3 counties: Brooke, Hancock, and Jefferson. Wouldn't it be great if we can get that $400,000 from each county to make that $1.2 million? That's going to be our goal. So $400,000 is a much more achievable goal, I think. So if we can do that in each of the counties, I think that should be great. We're going to start with the Visionary Circle. And these are the names of the different categories that you can reach when you donate. Just so you know, we will have an endowment wall at the building at CASA, and it will have the names of different people who have donated and the levels that they've donated at. So in this case, let's say you wanted to do a Visionary Circle. That we just need one in each county, so that's a $400,000 donation. You would have the naming rights also to the endowment. So it could become the, let's say you named it after your mom. It could become the Mommy Forever Fund at the Child Place Casa. You would also be featured on the Forever Fund wall. And of course, your name would be on all reports and newsletters. If you were to join at the Guardian Legacy, we would need 4 of these per county. So that's $100,000 a piece. You would also have naming rights, and what we would let you name in this case are different events that we have, different things that we have going on, including, oh, I thought it was there, and it's not. Let me get to that screen real quick. I have all the listings. That's not there. Hang on just a second. I apologize. It was in here and it's not. So I just have to go back to that screen. All right, there's the legacy. All right. You would have the naming rights for the book club. So it would be the Mommy Book Club. That's a group of volunteers that read a book that's usually somehow tied into a Child's Place Casa. And then it would become the Mommy Book Club. Or, because there's 4 of them for each county, you might choose to do the coffee talk. It could be the Mommy Coffee Talk. We also have a spring newsletter and a winter newsletter, so you could become that letter, can have that naming right. All right, All right, so you would also, of course, be on the Forever Wall and have your name on all reports and newsletters. Let's say you decided to become an advocate pillar. We would need 8 of those per county. That's at $50,000 or more. You would, of course, be on the Forever Fund Wall and your name on all reports and newsletters. You can choose to put it in the name of somebody in somebody's memory. You can choose to put it in whatever name you want on the Forever Fund Wall and in the newsletters and reports. Let's say you want to do a Fostering Futures. Now, we talked yesterday about Fostering Futures. That's the part of our budget that helps kids that are aging out of the system. They've turned 18. They are now on their own. They're legally an adult. So the state is not supporting them in the same way. So we help them to find a job. We help them to find an apartment. We check in with them, so that they're not feeling like they're all alone and cast out. It's very difficult when you're a foster kid if your birth parents are no help, your foster parent is done fostering you, and now you just need somebody to talk to when your car breaks down to say, hey, what should I do? Is this car worth fixing or not fixing? That's the Fostering Futures program. So if you want to be a Fostering Futures hero, and this we need 16 per county, that would be $25,000 or more. And again, you'd be on the Forever Wall, and you would have your name on all newspapers and reports. We also had the Community Hero level, and that's $10,000 or more. And again, we'll have a special plaque for you on the Forever Fund Wall. I don't know what it's going to look like yet, but when we do, that we'll have a special level that's Community Heroes, and you'll be on that part of the wall. I have some ideas, but I haven't gotten approval for it, so we'll talk about what it's going to look like, especially since it's really not my building. A name on all the reports and newsletters. We have the Corporate Hero level, which is $5,000, also on the Forever Wall, and your name on all reports and newsletters. If you want to be a Volunteer Hero, that's $1,000. And again, volunteers are so important to our organization because they're the ones that make the attachment with the kids, that go out and talk to everybody in the kid's life and try to help the judge understand what's going on. They also give voice to the child so that they have somebody speaking for them. Oftentimes they might have a GAL, which is a guardian ad litem, and they speak towards the legal interest of the child. But the CASA volunteer can speak towards the emotional and the psychological interest of the child. They can say, this is what the kid wants. Doesn't mean he or she's going to get it. And really the better question to ask is not what the kid wants as far as stability, but why. And that all gets handled on the volunteer level. And again, they'll be on the Forever Wall. The Children's Hero, It's anybody with $5 or more donation. That includes anything that you donate starting today. If you put in the donation area, if it says endowment, we'll know where to put you. Also, if you donate on our website, our special website, which is coming up later, it will automatically ask that question. We have the micro-philanthropist level, and that's me. I made that one up because I am a micro-philanthropist. I don't have lots and lots of money to give away, so we set it low at $100. But a micro-philanthropist is somebody who is giving, and is giving with their time, with their money, with their abilities, with their skills and talents. So that's the micro-philanthropist level. And of course, they'll be on the forever wall. Where can you fit in? Well, you can help by raise awareness. As always, the more that we are able to share and comment on Facebook and on YouTube, the more people will, the platform will show it to. So we want to do that. Please comment below. Please leave a like. Share on your page. Just raise that awareness as best we can. So that, talk with your friends, your neighbors, and your colleagues, or host a fundraiser. If you like, a fundraiser is similar to a fundraiser, but instead of trying to get more money in, we're trying to get more people aware of what we do. And so a fundraiser is if you hold a party and you invite somebody from CASA to come and speak at that party. And we explain what CASA does, and then it raises awareness with those people. If they choose to donate to the Angel Well, or sign up for the Angel Well, which is our 5-year commitment to monthly giving or yearly giving, that's great. If they don't, that's great too. The more people that understand what CASA does, the better it is, and the easier it is for CASA to continue to do what it does. You can arrange for a CASA person to come and speak at your group, your club, your church, or your event. I know, trying to remember, is it Kiwanis that invite people to come in, a different speaker each month? I don't remember if that's the right one, but I know there are several different organizations like that that have a speaker every month. Well, if you're looking for a speaker this month or next month or any month, contact the Child's Place CASA, and we'll be happy to come and talk at your event. You want to look for and support our various fundraisers, which happen throughout the year. You'll find them all. There's 31 for 31 in October, and we do all of the county fairs, and there's several other ones. Watch the Facebook page. We always advertise them there. Workplace giving. You can speak to your employer and see if they will match what you give. So if you are a micro-philanthropist, perhaps they will join, and you'll be able to give yet another $100. It's a thought. That's why I say many provide that. It multiplies your impact. You could also talk about, see if your workplace would allow you to take a gathering. Let's say you work at ABC Company, and you decide that you want, and your corporation gives you permission, and so at ABC Company, you do a mini fundraiser. You just go around and say, hey, people, we're trying to collect money for this. Then let's say you make it to the, I don't know, to one of the levels, and then we can use, as the name on that, we can use the generous workers at ABC Company. So it multiplies your impact. It helps you with that original 100 you were starting to give. Maybe you're up to 1,000 now. And it gets your coworkers involved. How else can you fit in? Appreciated securities. Most of us don't deal with a lot of this, but if this is you, you know what they are. They're a gift of stocks, bonds, or mutual funds that you donate to an endowment in our case. A Child's Place CASA will then make it, would sell it and make whatever you donated. But let's say you bought Amazon when it was 50 cents a share, and now it's worth millions. You are legally responsible to pay the money on the value that you've earned, the profit on that. If you donate it to a Child's Place CASA, that $1 million bond, you take $1 million off your taxes, and that's how it becomes a tax deduction. It's a thought. You only paid 25 cents for it, but now it's worth $1 million. That's one way to avoid paying the government. And that's the capital gains taxes. If you are in West Virginia or you work in West Virginia, you can apply for NIP credits. NIP credits are those credits that you get when you donate a certain amount to a Child's Place CASA. It's the Neighborhood Investment Program, and you have to donate, I think it's $5,000. I'm not positive. I can check into that. Leave a comment below, and I'll double check that. But it's those who live or work in West Virginia, and then it becomes a tax credit for your donation. So if you want more information on that, contact me. Leave a message here. Send a message through Facebook Messenger. Send us an email. We'll get you more information on that. I am not a West Virginia resident, and I don't work in West Virginia, so I don't really remember all the facts. I know I get them every year. Rhonda tells me every year how it works, but every year I forget because I don't get to use them. How else can you fit in? Kroger Rewards. Remember Kroger's? A lot of us shop for our groceries at Kroger's. If you attach your card, your grocery card or your phone number, whatever you use, Kroger will take a percentage of what you spend and send it to a Child's Place CASA. In order to do that, you need to link it to this number down here, this VB721. So you go online at Kroger.com and you type in, you sign in, and then it asks you, where do you want your rewards to go? And that's how you put it to a Child's Place CASA. Kroger has been very generous with us with that. And the more people that are spending, it costs you nothing. And yet you're giving to CASA every time you shop. What else? You could leave a legacy. And that's kind of what the endowment is about. A planned gift, bequest, or life insurance. If you have something like, let's say, you in your will, you list that when you die, CASA gets $1,000. That becomes a bequest. You could also choose to buy a life insurance policy and have CASA written in as the beneficiary. That kind of thing is also a possibility. You add bequest to your will or your living trust, and it's just a single sentence you put in there. And anyone who's helping you write up your will can help you to put that in. Or when you die, in lieu of flowers, you could request everybody send a donation to a Child's Place CASA. And that has been done before. And it's a great way to continue to give, even when you've left us. You could host a fundraiser. I always like this one. If you host a fundraiser, it would be either you personally or as a club, group, church, school, company, family, however you want to do it. A neighborhood, there's just any type of group can get together and host a fundraiser. And there are a whole bunch of different types you can do. Bake sales, trivia nights, a blankathon, so a skip-a-thon, or if you're into Magic the Gathering, a magic-a-thon. A garage sale. We've had several families donate their garage sale profits. A dress down day at your school or work. Dinner parties. A hobby challenge. So again, if let's say you're a D&D group and you say, okay, I'm going to challenge this D&D group and this D&D group are going to challenge each other, and we'll each put in $25, and that'll go to a Child's Place CASA, and then you have your game together. Trivia night. I know that Steubenville has a very good trivia night that's coming up shortly. But if you want more ideas, email me. I've got lots and lots and lots of unique ideas of things that we can do. I've pared this down. This slide used to be very, very full. I've pared it down so that it we can keep the time shorter. But email me and I'll give you a whole bunch of ideas for unique fundraisers that specifically fit your niche. We also take in-kind donations. That's not going to help the endowment, but it will help costs in the long run. We're always looking for paper and postage, gas cards that we can give the volunteers because sometimes they travel quite a distance. We are looking for electrical repair in our building, gift cards for the kids because especially around Christmas time, the younger kids are really, really easy to buy for, but the older kids, we prefer to give them gift cards so they can get what they want and what they need. We need plumbing repair in the building. As I said before, you can invite us to speak at your various events. And again, at your church, your civic club, your group, your business, your school, social clubs, there's all sorts of places. And then I wanted to look at real briefly, and I know we did this yesterday, but I want to go through this again. The costs of doing nothing. What happens if you don't give to CASA and we end up not being around? Without a CASA volunteer, kids are twice as likely to re-enter the foster system after being sent home, less likely to receive the mental health and other services they need. Sometimes they need braces, sometimes they need glasses. They might get them while they're in foster care, but once they get sent home, maybe they're not getting the attention they need. They're more likely to age out of the system alone and by themselves. The cost of doing nothing also includes, in foster care system, more than they're in the foster care system 7.5 more months than they are when they have a CASA volunteer. So with the CASA volunteer, things happen a little bit quicker. They experience more placements if they don't have a CASA volunteer, often 3 to 10 placements in the child's lifetime. And again, they're more likely to age out of the system alone. Without a CASA volunteer, kids are more likely to be to fail the classes for discipline and trauma-related behaviors instead of just because they don't get the material. They're failing because they can't stay in class. A lot of teachers' first response to misbehavior is go stand out in the hall. Well, then they're not getting the information they need to pass their classes. There's only 50% of kids that are in foster care that do not have a CASA volunteer graduate. 50%. They're less likely to continue on with their education. Only 3% of foster kids continue their education, whether it's college or trade schools or other type of education. Only 3% compared to the average. A third of kids in the overall school system will go on to higher education of some sort. What are the costs of doing that? 71% of the girls who age out will be pregnant before 19. 40% of children by the age of 25 will have children that are working in the CPS system. And 20% are homeless by the age 18. Only 50% are employed at 24. Again, the cost of doing nothing without a CASA volunteer. 60% of all males will have been incarcerated at some point before they turn 25. 25% who age out of foster care because they don't have a CASA volunteer will have PTSD. That's more than combat veterans have. That less than 25% of combat veterans who have actually seen combat, less than 25% of those age out have PTSD. But the foster kids, when they age out, do have PTSD that's untreated. A lot of the kids who were in foster care are in foster care because their parents were also in foster care. And their kids will also be involved with the foster care system. So the cost of doing nothing will be borne by the entire Ohio Valley. How you can help? Again, help with the endowment campaign. Spread the word to your friends and neighbors. Continue to share, like, and comment on our page. Again, we're on YouTube, we're on Facebook, we have a website and an email address if you want to contact us. And again, the site we have set up so that you can donate now is go.rallyup.com/show Casa Love 2026. And no, it doesn't need to be capital letters. The capitals and lowercase letters are not important as long as you have no spaces in the word. We'll leave that up there for a second while I turn and come back to here. There we go. All right, I want to thank you all for being part of this. Tomorrow, we've got something really special planned. We are going to talk with a Child's Place Casa Executive Director, Rhonda Stubbs, and we're going to talk with Becca Mitchell, who is the new volunteer coordinator. So I think she's still under a year, so that makes her new. She's getting there. And we're going to talk with them about what it's like in the lives of these children that we're working with and what the volunteers do. Kind of talk about, this is what child faces, this is what the volunteer faces, this is how we help. So hopefully you join us tomorrow. If not, you can see us at YouTube. You can see us on Facebook.